RE3 Remake is an abomination. I despise it, but I also love it. Let me explain for a moment. RE3 Remake as a remake fucking sucks, which is tragic, but it's what we got. It is what it is, am I right? I guess we'll all fuck ourselves. But when you view it as a reimagination, look over the fact that Capcom completely fucking failed at making a remake, it's actually very fun, surprisingly. But to talk about why I think it's fun, let's first talk about the gameplay. There's honestly not much to talk about the gameplay. It feels just like RE2 Remake when it comes to gunplay, but with everything else, they are vastly different in terms of pacing and level design. The gunplay is about what you would expect from a modern third-person shooter. You aim, camera gets zoomed in, and you shoot. Thankfully, it feels really good. It's very snappy and to the point, but I don't really know why every other RE game past RE3 Remake has felt worse. Especially RE4 Remake, like what happened there? Leon feels weird and delayed, not very snappy. I don't exactly know why, but whatever. What makes RE3 Remake stand out is character-specific abilities. Obviously, this isn't anything new. RE3 Nemesis had these too, but in the modern RE Engine era of Resident Evil, it is unique technically. Jill has the emergency dodge, while Carlos, the other playable character, has the shoulder tackle. Unfortunately, they are pretty similar, but man, they are fun to pull off. Is it too easy to use them? Probably. Do they make every zombie encounter predictable? To an extent, yes, but the fun factor is through the roof, in my opinion. Jill's dodge is clearly better, but I also can't help but love the silly shoulder tackle that Carlos does. It's pretty much a counterattack. Both abilities are related to timing, but I found that Jill's dodge is easy to trigger. But overall, I think I like them. I like the abilities, honestly. I think they're pretty fun to do, and it's very cinematic, it's very cool, and I like it, honestly. What I don't like is that the bosses kind of turn into a Souls-like, but we'll talk about the Nemesis boss fights later in the video. Carlos is pretty mediocre, not gonna lie. The first time you play as him, it's in RPD, which is cool in theory, but at the end of it, it feels kind of lazy. It's not a very good first impression. Thankfully, it's saved by the second time you play as Carlos, where you're in this like hospital care thing, and yeah, it's pretty good. It's somewhat interesting to explore. It's actually pretty scary, and those green hunter fellas are awesome to fight, but that's just my opinion. I mean, those fuckers can instantly kill you if you're not careful, so you really gotta move fast. And the assault rifle is nothing to write home about. I mean, it's just an assault rifle, it's nothing really special, but it's pretty good. It does a lot of damage, and it's pretty satisfying. I will say, I don't really like the part where you have to defend Jill, because that shit fucking drags for way too long. But overall, I kind of like Carlos. So, the gameplay is good, right? Well, almost. Unfortunately, the level design is dog shit. Even the best part of the game when it comes to the level design, Raccoon City, it still feels too straightforward with very little to do. RE3 Nemesis, the classic, absolutely mods RE3 Remake there. I mean, it's not even close. It doesn't help the fact that the intro of the game is literally just run straight and watch a movie. It's cool at first, but in the 6 to 7 playthrough, it gets to a point, you know. It's at least nowhere as boring as the intro of Resident Evil Requiem. I mean, that one is even longer and more boring to look at. Oh, but it's absolute cinema. Shut the fuck. Alright, this might be controversial, but I honestly think the Nemesis boss fights are really good, so let's talk about it. I'm not gonna be talking about how badly they ruined Nemesis in this remake because it's been talked to death, and we all know it's true. So I'm just gonna be focusing on the boss fights. I'm gonna be talking about each one, starting with, obviously, the first one. This is the only boss fight where you fight him in his semi-human form. Excluding his chase sequences because, he follows you, you can technically fight him while he's running after you, but he doesn't die and you don't have to fight him, so I wouldn't really consider those boss fights. In this boss fight, you are locked. You must defeat him. And I think this boss fight is really cool. You can stun him by shooting his chest, which has this electronic heart thing. I honestly have no idea. Which gives you the opportunity to explode his ass. You have to destroy the fuel tank from his flamethrower. The moment you explode the tank, he gets into the second phase, and now he's unlocked Incel Rage, and he will try to kill your ass. He grabs his flamethrower, which is in flames, by the way, and starts using it like a big old hammer. I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty cool. And you definitely have to time your dodges, so it's a lot about dodging and just locking in, really. The boss is too easy when you learn it, but I remember on my first playthrough, it actually was pretty hard. I remember dying a good bit of times, and that was on hardcore. And yeah, it was actually pretty challenging, which I like. Overall, I think this boss fight is like an 8 out of 10. And it's very cinematic, it's very cool, and it gives you a nice challenge. The second boss fight, he turns into this like sea monster or something. I think this boss fight is honestly pretty fun. It's easy, sure, but it's cool using your grenade launcher to stop him from running like a damn hamster on a wheel. When you do stop him, that is your chance to just use everything you have and just kill his ass. I personally give it about a 7 out of 10. The third boss fight is the same form, but the boss is slightly different. Anytime he's in one of those things, you have to shoot the blue squares to stun him. Oh, and you also have to worry about zombies while you're at it. It's just a slightly better version of the second boss fight. They are so similar that I honestly forgot to take footage of the third boss, so I don't have any footage of that one, but I think my description is good enough. It's a 7.5 out of 10. Now, the best one. The fourth and final boss. He turns into an abomination, beyond recognizable. The boss is simple in theory. You have to shoot the obvious weak points. Doing all of them stuns him, which gives you the opportunity to push one of the cell batteries to charge the big laser cannon, or whatever the hell you want to call it, in which you need it to kill him. But you can't be slow though. He can grab you and kill you instantly while you slowly push the big cell battery. You have to take your time. But yeah, this boss fight really shines in the other difficulties like Nightmare or Inferno. The Nemesis is much faster, and you really have to focus on your dodges, as you can see. It's fucking crazy. But this is where I bring back what I mentioned before. This boss fight is kind of like a Souls-like boss, because if you do one mistake, you are dead. If you reload at the wrong time, you will be punished for it. It's kinda like healing in Dark Souls. Like, I thought I was playing fucking Resident Evil. It's a little out there, sure, and I have no idea how Jill can use that big fucking laser cannon. But it's cute, I don't care. But when you master it on Inferno, it's so good and fun that it's already one of my favorite Resident Evil bosses ever. It's that good, so do yourself a favor and try the boss in Inferno. It's really good. My only problem with the bosses is that there should have been more. Very little bosses, and because 4 bosses is good, but I just ended up wanting more. But overall, I think the Nemesis boss fights are a highlight of the game. Now that I'm done with the bosses, I'm going to be talking about the pacing of RE3 Remake. Let's do this from the beginning to the end. The game starts with Jill looking at herself. She suddenly turns infected and now she's gonna kill herself. Wowie, so edgy. Then boom, Nemesis comes in. You manage to escape and meet Carlos for the first time, which leads you to the first part of the game, unsurprisingly, Raccoon City. But then we go to the sewers, it's right after Raccoon City. This part is pretty short and honestly way too damn small. But at least it's kind of fun going against those sewer monsters. They're kinda cute, I don't know. I think they are way too easy though. One flame round in the mouth and they're dead. And yeah, overall, I mean, it looks cool, right? It's a cool design, and you know, the sewers is very green. And yeah, it's kind of. After you get out of the sewers, you fight with Nemesis. This is where we switch to Carlos in RPD. And yeah, it's pretty cool, I guess. And you see some lickers, some zombies, you know. And now you're out with Jill on the outside. It's very pretty. You fight Nemesis again, he gets you, you're infected, and then you fucking die. But don't worry, Carlos is here to save the day. We switch back to Carlos in the part that we already talked about, which is very good. And then he saves Jill with a little bit of a dose of the virus cleaner. And yep, this is the last time you ever play as him, so it's safe to say Carlos doesn't really have a whole lot of screen time. Then we go back to doing Jill stuff as usual. Then you get some fuses and then go and run after some weird Russian guy. I already forgot his name, not gonna lie. And you are already at the final level of the game. Yes, I'm serious. This part, like the rest of the game, is too straight and linear. I will say the highlight of this part is this banger that plays. Then you get the cure for the virus and you just kinda fuck off with it. But unfortunately you have to fight the Nemesis again, the same beast form, and you get to see Carlos again for like 2 seconds before he disappears again. But you fight Nemesis for the last time. Absolute cinema. Wowie girl. You boss girly and shit. And then he's actually fucking dead. Congratulations. You finally get to the Russian guy, but unfortunately he kicks your ass and you're weak and feeble. But don't you worry, Carlos here to save the day. And now he's helping you shoot him, and then you shoot him. Wow. And that's the final boss, is just shoot some Russian guy. Wow. We get out and then everyone fucking dies. Wow. Really inspirational stuff. But don't worry, because we're alive. And we are the people that matter, okay? We are the goats. Everyone doesn't deserve to live except us. And the end. That's the story. Yes, that's it. That's how it ends. What I'm trying to say and show is that the pacing is very fast with very little breaks, which is not inherently bad per se, but for a Resident Evil game it has to be with a bit of a slow burn, a slow start, but then it gets more amped up. This game is not that. This game really is just a roller coaster of things happening and none of it really mattering that much. It just goes by way too fucking fast. Which brings me to my main problem of the game. It really is a damn shame just how short this game really is. I don't really mind when the game is short. I like short games. But in the context of this game, it's really depressing and horrible just how short it is. Sure, on a first playthrough, it'll take you around like 6 to 7 hours. I remember when I first played, it took me about 7 hours because obviously I didn't know what I was doing. It's the first time playing. But when you know where to go and what to do, this game is so incredibly short Every single time I finish the game, I just feel a mix of happiness and sadness. Because I really enjoyed my time, but I also want more. Give me more. I mean, at one point, I actually almost finished the game under an hour. Almost. I was skipping everything, sure. I was using the rocket launcher as well, sure. But the fact that I was even close to that is not a good sign. There is one positive to this, which is the fact that it makes the game infinitely more replayable because of how short it is. You can beat the game in one sitting and then start another one and beat it again in one day. Which is cool in theory, but I just end up asking for more. I'm hungry for more. Anytime the game ends, I'm just dissatisfied that there isn't more. If they simply didn't rush this remake and actually added all the content from the original, this game would have been infinitely longer and infinitely better. It really is a shame. That's why I think it really is the worst part of the game, for me anyways. Before I give my conclusion, I want to talk about the elephant in the room. If you haven't noticed, I've been playing with mods. And some might say, of course you like it. You have mods to make the game better. That's not the vanilla experience. Well, sorry to break it to you, but my first experience with this game is actually on the Xbox. I have about 25 hours there, and I did it on every single difficulty. And even on Xbox, I really enjoyed the game quite a bit. Most of the mods I have on are primarily cosmetic. It's still RE3 Remake, but with Ghost and big boobs. I'm a gooner, what can I say? Jill is very attractive, even without mods. So yeah, smash. One of the mods I have makes the game look more colorful and removes the piss filter, as you can see. Looks much better. Anyways, enough of that. It's time for the conclusion.
I hate you, I love you, I hate that I love you, don't want to, but I can't.
So in conclusion, do I think this is a good game? Almost. I personally think it's a good game, but I feel like it would be a little disingenuous to say it's a good game without actually finishing the original. I did play a little bit of it, but I didn't get that far. I do plan on finishing it, and when I do, I don't think my perspective on this game is going to change much. Because at the end of the day, I already know all the stuff they cut, because I've seen many videos on the topic. But really, as a game, as a reimagination, even there it kind of fails, because again, as I pointed, it's too short, and there's other issues. But I really can't help but love it because it's so fun to replay over and over and over, and I love the gunplay, and I actually kind of like Jill. I think she's cool. Overall, I think the game's about a 6 out of 10. It's already one of my favorite games ever, and that's so weird to say, but I just constantly go back to it, and I don't know, something about it, it just works for me. But at least I can acknowledge all the flaws and how much they cut, and as again, like I said in the beginning of the video, as a remake, this game fucking sucks. But as a game, it's just okay, but it's a fun, okay game. Anyways, that about does it for the video, and honestly, this was interesting to do. This is my first ever somewhat high effort video. I'm not gonna say this is a good video or anything, but it was interesting to talk about this game and do some sort of script. It was about 10,000 words of typing for this script, which is the first time I've ever done that for anything really. Not this part though. This part has been just rambling really, because I'm kind of tired of typing. But overall, thank you for like the 2 people that are gonna watch this. No one's gonna watch this video, but I think this was fun. I don't see myself doing it again. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching.
Hey yo, what the fuck?